Hey guys, this is Lil with another raid video. Today I wanted to talk about counters in, counters just in arena, champs that you need to counter. So about 2 weeks ago I recorded a video on 3v3, just talking through like my approach to 3v3, how I build teams for 3v3, how I pick my matchups for 3v3, and the recording was 45 minutes long. Which is fine for me, but you guys don't want to sit through 45 minutes of a video, I don't think, and my analytics certainly say so. So I thought that I looked at like cutting the video up and just doing it in sections, and I thought, I'll just record it again, but each section at a time. So I'm starting with, and it's really difficult to know where to start because, I really want to, I've reached out to a couple of other CCs to see if I can get someone on to sort of do some fun tier lists around PvP champs, so like the best supports for Live Arena and Classic and 3v3, and the same with, damage dealers. So I'll keep you posted on that. So that one will probably actually come much later. But I thought that, to me, one of the most important things in 3v3 is picking your matchups. So, knowing your teams, and we'll go into that when I do the team building video, which will probably be next week. The sort of champs that you need to counter, also, it applies across Classic, 3v3, or Live Arena. And it also helps you build your teams because these are the annoying champs. And most of the time, the annoying champs are the ones that you want on your team. So whether it's you need to counter them because they're on the enemy team, or, if you've got these, they're the top champs and you need to include them in yours. So let me know the ones I skipped down below, your favourite. And we'll go into it, and some of them are generals, like Lockout is just a category. It's not a specific champ, because there's loads of champs that do Lockout. So I thought we'd go in, talk about the ones to counter, because that will help you planning your matchups in 3v3, but also help you out in Live Arena. So yeah, I'm sure I've missed loads of good champs, so do let me know, your favourites that I've missed. And other than that, let's go and have a look. Okay, so not the first one, but the one that I looked up last on my list of people that I wanted to have counters for. And honestly, I added this one because in the 3v3 video, this was my most losses was against Sigrund. I just find him really annoying. I always forget what he does, and then I'll hit him, and then I really regret hitting him because I kill him at exactly the wrong time. So, briefly, what he does is if you kill him when everyone else is dead, he puts a block revive on himself, transforms into his second form, and revives everybody else with block damage. So, obviously, what you don't want is for him to get that passive form switch and revive with a block damage, because that's going to be really detrimental to you winning that matchup. So the answers to him, now, I don't know if it's intended or not, but Narcissus hits through. So Narcissus, the double hit on the Narcissus A2 will kill a Sigrund without triggering his passive. I don't know if that's intended or not. That's mainly how I counter him, is I run Narcissus against him. Obviously, you can do other things, like kill him first. If you kill him first, this passive does nothing. It's only, he will gain that, but he doesn't. There's nobody there for him to revive. It's like if you kill a Marichka when everybody's alive, then her passive doesn't do anything. So yeah, he will. I think he still triggers the passive, but he doesn't do it. But he's got nobody to revive. So it's just he gains the block damage, and he hasn't revived everybody with the block damage. So, sorry, my coffee. So yeah, killing him first, Rotus, Narcissus, or, if you've already got your Romantu, bring a Romantu, somebody else with block passive skills, will also work there. I guess, very similar, so let's talk, I have got these written down, but in no particular order, which I'll probably regret later, so I will pick an order. I'll do them in the order I wrote them down in. So, next one, Oh God, I'm not going to try. I'm not going to try and do them from the index because that would involve me remembering which faction people are in. Armanz, top the person that people want to counter at the moment, I imagine. He's your number one pick in Live Arena, and he's your number one ban in Live Arena. Simple as that, because he's that strong. And I just watched a really good video from Big Papa Drock with a few other content creators. He had Shinny on there, he had Biohack on there, and I can't remember the other guy's name. I've seen some videos from him, but I'm sorry. Someone will let me know in the comments who the name of the dude I forgot. And yeah, and you know, they were saying like, he's too powerful. Like, any champ that can solo the whole team is too powerful. Like, you know, if Armanz is in the team, that's it. Like, nobody else ever gets a turn because, you know, stun and sheep and lots of turn meter and lots of turn meter dropping. Counters for Armanz. Stone Skin. So, Stone Skin will mess with his AI if they haven't set it. If they have set it, it will still stop you getting your turn meter stolen. So you're not going to get stunned, you're not going to get turn meter stolen if everybody's in Stone Skin. Now, another counter to that, which is the one that I use most often, is Ancora. So, like, the team that I would run against an Armanz would usually be like my White King, Narcissus, and my Ancora. And then I would run a team that is all Stone Skin, all one-turn Stone Skin, except for my Nuka. I don't have a good Nuka built in Stone Skin, if I'm honest. So what I would do is I would then run the Ancora with a team that's full Stone Skin, so that her passive... where is she? Here she is. Her passive will take any stun, etc., from the person with the highest crit dam. So in that instance, she would then stop your Nuka getting... your Nuka would still get turn meter stolen, but they won't get the CC because she will take it off them. Mine is in one-turn Stone Skin, so she will then not take the stun, and your Nuka will be free eventually. Locking him out is a really good answer, so just being faster. Yeah, so if you're running a speed team, that's a good counter. Tormin is quite an interesting counter because actually Armanz gains loads of turn meter. You know, like, he gains turn meter from doing lots of things, like when sheeps break and whatever. And also, like, he's gaining turn meter here. So, yeah, Tormin is an interesting counter to Armanz. I haven't used that one enough. Maybe I've got like one of the live arena missions, and I want to do a bit more live arena recording. So maybe I will. Maybe I'll showcase some Tormin against Armanz. Okay, so I would say those are the main ones: Stone Skin, Ancora, going faster. Whether that's to nuke him, whether that's to lock him out, whether that's to use your Wukong to sheep him, you know, being faster than him, basically. Okay, so lockouts. My only lockout is down here. He always seems way lower blessing than all my other champs. My only lockout is Warlord. Warlord is great because he also reduces turn meter. So, but then, you know, they've all got their advantages and disadvantages. If it's Crixia, then she's got the reset as well. Same with Yumiko. If it's Lazarius, who I always get mixed up with Leorius because they're just so similar and they're both skinwalkers. So they've all got advantages and disadvantages as lockouts. Lockout is never fun, but, you know, if somebody's picked an Armanz and a Warlord, you can only ban one of them in live arena. If you've got both of them, then you want to split them up so that, you know, you've got like a not pleasant thing to deal with on each of your teams. Answers to lockout, again, Ancora... Oh, sorry, that's not the right one. Ancora is a really good answer to lockout. Because of her A1. So, you know, a couple of A1s, you know, it's a 30% chance. I think that's 30% plus, so 50% chance to get a cooldown reduction. And it's not all the way, but it's by 2 turns. So a lot of the time that's enough to get your toe back into the fight. Rotus has always been an excellent answer to Lockout because this is on a 2-turn cooldown, and his A1 gives him extra turns. So yeah, Rotus is, for me, my number one answer to Lockout. Anyone who cycles turns quickly, an Ancora, if you've got a high resist Kaimar, obviously being faster. That's tough with like a Yumiko where she is fast anyway and built fast. But if you're talking about Lazarius, then obviously killing him because he's built as a damage dealer usually. Okay, now what I think is one of the most difficult champs to counter right now is White King Narcissus. He's just like, he goes through shields and strengthen, and he will block revive on the A3. So, if you are running bolster, now, personally, I don't think Narcissus, avoid legendary, yes, he was guaranteed, but I still, for me, put bolster in all of my teams. I don't think it's worth not building. I think the benefit of bolster far outweighs the risk of Narcissus getting the double hit off on the A2. And people only have one Narcissus. So, if you got bolster in your team and someone picks a Narcissus, try and ban the Narcissus if you can. Or, if you're running, let's say that you got the Ancora, don't do what I did yesterday in one of my live arena fights, which was, they'd picked the Narcissus. I counter-picked the Ancora to make sure they didn't get her. And she's also like one of my tankier revivers. But then, of course, I used her shield right before Narcissus. Then Narcissus took a turn, and then I went, oh, that's a shield, isn't it? And I think he's got his A2 available. And of course he did. And of course we lost that fight. So yeah. Don't bring shields. Bring Stone Skin is good. But yeah, don't bring shields. Don't bring somebody with strengthen. He'll go right through it. But mainly, be tanky. Be tanky. Like a Rotus is quite good because he will. He's naturally tanky on his passive. He can't be one shot, but 2 shots will be close. Will be hit and miss, which is why you should run Ward of the Fallen on him. So yeah, for me, Narcissus is a really tough one. For countering. It's kind of like try and live through it or CC him, like bring a Wukong and sheep him, provided that you get a turn before he does. But yeah, I think Narcissus is a tough one, and that's why we're seeing him a lot in like Classic Arena in Plat Reset and things at the moment. Okay, right, so I grouped together Marichka. I don't have a Marichka, so let's talk about Taras first. Let's talk about Marichka first. Go on. We'll go and look her up. If I do go and look up everybody, it's going to be slow going though, because I can never remember factions for people. I'm terrible. Okay, I would say Marichka counters Narcissus, because he is designed to counter her and Taras. If they've got both champs, don't hit her. Because if you do, Taras is going to come at you with one of the hardest hitting single target attacks in the game. So hit somebody that's not her. Unless you can kill her, or unless you're talking about, like, let's say... So I would say, like, killing Marichka first is what I do. Unless they've got a seriously... Like, let's say they've got 2 damage dealers, or they've picked a squishy damage dealer with a Marichka, I might kill the damage dealer first, but most of the time I'm trying to kill your reviver first, especially when the reviver's passive is revive everybody on the team. I do always forget about about her block damage, which is really annoying. So yeah, I would say kill her. Kill her first, and the way that I normally do that is with a Rotus. Like, run a Rotus into her, or whoever your best single target damage is. If you manage to get it, like if you're running a Taras, then use his A2 first and save his A3, which is his AoE, to come back around. Yeah, and the same with like any other damage dealer. Like, if you got your Wukong, use his A2 into her. Whichever. If you're using a White King Narcissus, then do his A3 is single target hit into the Marichka, try and kill her, so that you can then do the AoE on the entire team. And you can take some of the other champs out if you've saved your AoE like that. So yeah, I would say, don't attack her because Taras will kill you unless you're like using a Rotus A3 into her to just try and get her down as quick as possible so that you can then focus on the rest of the team. Now, Taras, on the flip side, is he easier to counter? I don't know. It's hard to say. I would say, obviously, again, the Narcissus is the sort of the counter that they've built to these champs. Taras is also he's reliant on buffs. So a buff stripper will neuter his damage. So the worst feeling in the world is you buff up, you're getting ready for your turn, you got loads of buffs on your team, ready for your Taras to nuke the heck out of them, and then their Wukong gets turn, and he does his A3 and buff steals everyone and puts block buffs on, because now your Taras has just lost a shed load of his damage. Yeah, 15% for each buff. So, if you take buffs off him, then his damage is significantly lower. Obviously, he's still just as hard to kill as he was before because of his passive, but that's, like, a Rotus into him is really good. Like, I like the destroy max HP on a Taras. He also, like, gets his... because he absorbs some of the damage as destroyed max HP. It's quite funny. If you A2 from a Rotus into him, his max HP just shrinks down to virtually nothing. But somebody did correct me on one of my videos, because that doesn't impact his damage. He's one of the few HP damage nukers that reducing his max HP doesn't make a difference. So yeah, I would also say UDK is also quite a good counter to Taras, because the A2 is a massive single target hit, but it's a single target hit. So if you did the A3 and you didn't kill the UDK or anybody else, then for 2 turns you're doing not a lot, because this is just going to go into the UDK stone skin, and this is going to first hit into the UDK stone skin, second hit is going to go into whoever you targeted, but that's unlikely to be a killer. Like, you're not going to one-shot somebody with this move. On that subject, another interesting counter is Tormin. Again, he's not gonna stop anything in that first hit, but he's giving the whole team turn meter with this A1. So let's say you ran like a Tormin Warlord, or or more accessible Lockout champ. Actually, that can be a fun way to counter him just from that turn meter gain. Is there anyone else I missed? No, UDK, Wukong, Wukong for the buff strip. Any other buff stripper is also good. So if you've got Romantu, you could run your Romantu. But yeah, I like a UDK to counter a Taras, or a Rotus. Like, somebody to single target him down is really good. But you've got to be talking like serious damage dealer. You've got to be able to hit really hard to get through his passive, plus the fact he's built with loads of health. So yeah, he's another tough one. Right, let's have a look. Not in this faction, and a recent addition to my account since I recorded that video, Harima, who I can't remember where I got her, but I pulled a Mashald recently, and I pulled a Harima wherever she's gone. She's got no blessing, so her poor stats are suffering. Yeah, so Harima is, top draw. The problem with the Harima is she hits really hard, and she reduces all ignore defense mechanics. So she is a counter to a lot of champs, and is a really good, actually what I really like, which I'll talk about when I talk about building teams, is like a flex. She's brilliant in a flex spot. A bit like a Wukong, where she's bringing damage, but she's also bringing another benefit. Like, she's a protector, really. What you're doing is neutering other teams, and then you can only weak hit. She can only weak hit, but other people can't crit her like demon spawns. So that's what I like, is like those champs that you can add in and they bring some damage. They might not be your primary damage dealer, but they can help you get over the line. And again, full disclosure, and I should have probably started with this, I am not into speed teams at all. Like, I know they're coming back in. For me, too squishy, right? Plus 4 stone skin. Counters for her. Honestly, you need a nuker who can do enough damage without the ignore defense, which is tough. So, you know, it's going to take you a lot longer. It's sort of, a lot of it depends on the other team composition as well, because you might decide to bring 2 damage dealers instead of 1, because you know that your 1 damage dealer who's built in Savage isn't going to get through. It's not going to be enough damage to get through. You know, what you'll often see is like a Harima with, let's say, a Siphi plus a UDK plus another tanky champ. But she's the only damage in there, and, you know, that's kind of a stalling, just trying to make you not hit it. So yeah, I would say, you know, bring in a couple of damage dealers to try and get through. Yeah, it's tough. Taras is my best answer to her, you know, on my account, just because he's got so much damage. And I would say, you know, Narcissus, kind of the same, but yeah, not like, you know, she will ignore, you know, he's ignoring 25% defense. So you got to be sure that you're going to get the double hit off there, you know, if you want any hope of getting through. So yeah, she's quite a tough one. You can always do something like bring a Wukong and sheep her, because her passive doesn't work through sheep. Some do, some don't. Hers doesn't, as far as I know. You correct me in the comments if I'm totally wrong, but I'm pretty sure that hers doesn't go through sheep. I think Lydia's is the only one I know of that goes through sheep with the block revive. I'll just have a little bit more coffee. Sorry, it's all the talking. Let me check where we're at. Oh god, 23 minutes and I'm not even through all of them yet. Sorry guys, I will speed up. Okay, I'll try and remember to put some timestamps in as well. Okay, UDK, and my UDK build is terrible. I built him when we first got him, and my gear is so much better than that. My stone skin gear is so much better than that now. But anyway, UDK, I don't think you need a specific counter to UDK. It's more dodging the UDK. Like, just don't put your single target damage dealer against him, and that's kind of it. Is he annoying? Yeah, he can be, but you'll get through him. It's annoying if you end up with a team where, like, you're talking about, like, a super tanky reviver, like, let's say a Siphi, and then they got Harima, and then they got a UDK, and it takes you so long to get through the UDK that you don't have enough to get through the reviver before they revive the UDK, and you just get stuck in a cycle. Also, like, made worse by the Harima, you know, passive on the block ignore defense. So yeah, Wukong usually is just a wait it out, nuke through him, nuke the rest of the team around him with AoEs, and then clean him up once his stone skin's fallen off. It's more of a, if you've got like a Rotus or, you know, a Mountain King, somebody that's doing single target, just dodge it. Just dodge him with that team. And the same with Wukong. You know, you need to dodge the UDK with the Wukong. And again, depending on your build. So now we're going to go and do the flip of that. So counter to UDK is a support built Wukong. If you've got a good support built Wukong, you should be able to sheep that UDK without any issues. If you've got a damage or hybrid built Wukong, you probably can't. So they kind of, and I spoke about this before with Nubs, they kind of counter each other in that way, which depending on the build. So the best counter to a damage Sun Wukong is a UDK, because that A2 is a single target hit that then spreads the damage, the excess damage afterwards. So you want to target their squishiest champ to get a big hit on him, to get the biggest excess damage that you can, that's then spread across the rest of the team. If you got a Wukong and he just absorbs that single target hit, guess what? He's built super high resist. You didn't even sheep him. You didn't kill him, so you didn't get any of that damage spread, and a damaged Wukong then is, you know, it has done nothing. So it depends. We're seeing more damage Wukong builds now than we are support Wukong builds. So, you know, in that instance, he's a worse counter to UDK, but UDK is a better counter to him. So yeah, it depends on if you can tell what they've what they've got him built as. Now, if you're talking live arena and they've picked Wukong as their only or one of two damage dealers, you can be relatively confident that that's probably a damage Wukong, and you can counter pick a UDK to counter him. Again, depending on who you've got on your roster, obviously. Right. Now, one of my actual least favourite champs, because again, I don't feel like there's a great counter to him, and I don't have him, is Georgid, and I can't remember what he is. I think he's undead. Georgid, the Nutcracker dude. He's not undead. That's annoying. Sorry, I can't remember what he is. Hold on. I'll pause and find him. I didn't have to pause very long at all. He was in the next one I checked. So Georgid, he ignores Stone Skin, which is a problem. And he gets next turn if he kills someone. So the problem is whether he gets the 50-50 flip. So he ignores 50% defense on his passive, but it's a coin flip whether he gets it. So most of the time you just hope he doesn't get it and hope you live through it. Hope that your reviver is tanky enough to live through it, or go faster. Go faster, and then you can do what you want with him. You can kill him, you can CC him, you can lock him out. But yeah, he's going to ignore your Stone Skin. He's going to ignore your Necrot buffs if you've got Necrot. Not that he's... and I haven't included Necrot on this list because I don't think that he's needs countering as much anymore. He's kind of fallen out of the meta. If I was looking to counter Necrot, kill him first. That's how you counter Necrot. You use Narcissus, because he will double hit on all of his skills. You can use a buff strip from a Wukong. It won't strip all the buffs, but it'll strip some of them, because some of them are protected. Yeah, kill him first, and then kill everyone else. That's typically it's the best way to get rid of the ally protect. Kill the ally protector. So yeah, and I would use a Rotus for that. And again, the Georgid, I would say reaction is your friend. Block passives, again, can be good with a Ramantu, or I can't, there is someone else who brings block passives, but I can't remember who it is. I would also say Harima is obviously great counter pick, and do you know what? I need to pick her more. I only built her a week ago, but yeah, I really need to start using her more in live arena. She would have helped me out in a few matches yesterday. Right. One, as an honourable mention, that doesn't really need countering anymore, is Helicath. I actually really like a Helicath in live arena. I've got a 4-piece Stone Skin build. He's bringing that block damage, he's bringing a massive shield, and he's bringing that counter attack every time somebody under block damage is attacked with his passive. So yeah, really good champ. He can be a sneaky, again, filling that role of he's protecting your team, but he's also a damage dealer, again, depending on how you build him. But yeah, building with damage, and he can actually take out teams. Most people don't like him in live arena because he just makes the matches really long because it's just so many counterattacks. And I haven't been using mine because the problem is Wukong is so prevalent, as are other buff stealers like a Lady Mikage. Yeah. And I haven't included every champ that you are ever going to need to counter, like Lady Mikage, and you're going to want to do things like be faster, bring a cleanser. I lost a match to a Lady Mikage the other day because it was just stun into sleep, and I can't remember if they had a reset champ or something, but I was just in a chain of stun and sleeps from Lady Mikage. So yeah, a high resist cleanser is good there. Killing her is always good. CCing her is always good. Being faster than her is always good. These are all good answers for anyone. But yeah, so anyway, Wukong seeing way less play because Helicath seeing way less play, just because this just feels like there's so many people who are stripping buffs now. Okay, last couple, guys, and I guess we already did Sigrund. Lazarius, we sort of talked about. And again, with the Mythicals, it's more a challenge around sort of remembering what they do. So I would say try and remember what some of the top ones do, like the Crixia, like the Lazarius. I'm trying to think who else is a massive pain. Like for me, the Sigrund is a massive pain. remembering the what's he? I'm trying to remember what he is. Galathea. I'm trying to remember which faction he's in now. I did say I was terrible at this. Do you know what? I totally would have gone with one of those first ones. Hold on, I'll pause and find him. Found him. He was the second one, so I haven't spent ages looking. Galathea, yeah, is a pain, and I would say, it used to be that you could just ignore the mythicals because so few people had them. I would say now it's well worth going through and just reviewing the mythicals and knowing their skills, because they can be a pain. Like these cleanses and turn meters, and then his alternate form is the revive. I think it's revive and buff strip. I can't remember now. Attacks all enemies. Yeah, buff strip. I don't see his path, or is it? I'm trying to remember where his revive is now. There it is. I found it. It was on his main form. That's why I was confused and thought it was on his second form. So yeah, he's got like the buff strip. He's got the revive. He's got some turn meter. It's not a lot of fun to deal with, and probably one of the top mythical for Arena at the moment. Him and Crixia, I would say, tied in first place. So I'd say worth now making sure that you're familiar with the mythicals, so that when they get picked, Sorry, but we were talking about Lazarius, weren't we? So the problem with him is he's built as a damage dealer, but then he's also got hold on, let me find it. Yeah, so he's got a revive on the main form at the end of his turn, and then if he kills somebody, he resets. He locks everyone out. So he's a damage dealer and lockout in one. So never fun. So obviously, but the good thing with mythicals is they are all affinity based. So you can run a counter. Try and run some force champs to counter that. Obviously, Harima. It was surprising when I was making this list how many counters her 2 champs Harima is. She's a good counter. Obviously, you can kill him. That's a really good counter, and again, like going faster, bringing bringing positive affinity against him. But yeah, he's another tough one. You gotta get the kill on him, because otherwise he's gonna nuke your whole team and revive and lock you out. So yeah, not a lot of fun to go against. He's probably number 3 in terms of the sort of mythicals, but we will make a tier list at some point. Okay, guys, I'm sorry that was really long. After I said like a 40-minute video just talking about counters. 40-minute video talking about 3v3, and then I did a 30-minute video on counters. So I'll try and trim some bits out of it. So hopefully maybe it's a little under 30 minutes when you watch it. Those for me are the scariest champs in Arena right now, whether that's Classic, whether that's Live Arena, whether that's 3v3. And I would say, I was doing this to tie into a 3v3 video, which is looking at who you're going to run your matchups. So planning your team so that you've got a team that can deal with Lockout. So if the enemy 3v3 team has a Warlord on it, then you can run your anti-Lockout team against that team. If you've got a team that's got Rotus in, you need to know that you've got to dodge Harimas and UDKs in the enemy team matchup. So this video is a precursor to that, to the team building and to the sort of picking your matchups, but also kind of an intro into top champs in Arena. So, guys, I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, then do drop me a like, drop me a subscribe. It really helps me out, and I will see you guys in the next one.